I don't even know how to start this video because this episode was simply incredible and its animation was in a whole other level. It's one of the best, if not the best 3D animation I ever see to this date. In terms of quality and just how cool it looks. And another thing, the episode itself was really good. And with a lot of really good fight scenes. And yes, I was like, what, 90% wrong on my predictions? But still got some things right. But apart from that, let's go to what really matters and what you're here for. Which is a complete analysis of the last episode of the Murder Drones, what might you miss, and with some explanations. What might be the future of Murder Drones. And more to the end of this video, I will talk about what I think is gonna be the future of this series and some new projects that I might have. Well, I'm going to skip some other parts of the fight of this episode that don't add up anything to the lore. But they're still gonna comment a little bit on them and some parts. But those fights are so incredible and are what makes this episode great. But have said that, at the beginning of the episode, you can see something very interesting, shall we say. After parts of the planet get ejected to the orbit, we can see the professor, who is the character least about what the hell is going on around him. And there's more there just for comedic effect, because of Murder Drones. And then we can see one part that is very interesting now. There is the whole scene jumping at the end of the last episode, which appears to be her inside of that with her eldritch form. With the new at the center that starts pulsating and goes into a mode of collecting matter. And then we can see him creating the solver energy tentacles and start picking up parts of the planet that are in the orbit. And one of the things I found interesting is that we can see around those tentacles the same codes that we can see on the new that is used when it is activated. And after this, we can see Naughty talking to Uzi on the orbit of the planet about the solver taking control of her. And saying to her if she is strong enough to resist, this wouldn't happen again. I already have seen parts of this on the last episode during the fight against Sin controlling Uzi. At some moments Uzi almost took control back because of Anne, and at the end of the fight when Anne kind of confessed to Uzi, not really because I think they already confessed to each other, but like, you know, say to her mom, Uzi managed to take control completely back from the solver. And Anne at this moment show up in the capsule to save Uzi, and we can see some interesting things on the control panel of the capsule that Anne is controlling. And we can see a lot of things, but like most of them are just mumbo jumbo. And this is probably the ship that Jay and Sin used to arrive on Copper 9, because the other one got destroyed on last episode. And looks like the time that this capsule being active, so suppose since the time that Jay go and destroy the capsule from the first capsule that arrived until this moment, it's been 10 minutes because of the panel on the side, but that is just more of a guesstimate than anything because that's just a random timer. And apart from this, there's not much else that we can take from this scene. And we can see that the ship got destroyed by the solver tentacles, and now Uzi and Anne are re-entering the atmosphere. And we finally have the confirmation of something that we already kind of know and was obvious, that Anne and Uzi are dating. And this scene is really cool of those two finally talking about this. And after this, Uzi decides to turn into a freaking Beyblade and just re-enter atmosphere that way. Oh, and it's just doing normal. And we can see that scene took parts of the ship that she destroyed and left to Jay. That shows that she wants to leave the planet after the singularity event is done. Probably to continue doing this into other planets. When Jay was going to kill Liz, Ted, and Can, guess who show up to save the day? V, that still controlled the Sentinel that tried to kill them until episode 6. And apparently V knew way more than Anne and Uzi in respect of Sin, and thought Jay was on their side to fight against her. And we can see that the theory that I had said about V was correct, which was the one that she was talking to Lizzie on her phone to help her to stop the solver spread against Jay and Tin. We can see all this time they were there just to distract Jay long enough to V to arrive. And a very funny thing I want to talk that doesn't have anything that's relevance to the story or anything, just that we can see Ken just Deposium space were floating. Style of the albums of the musics. There's nothing special, just like I found this funny. And apparently V and Jay already had talked before about leaving the planet after completing the mission. And V thought that if they do that, Sin would have left them alone. But Jay already knew that this was all a lie, and that she also admitted that Sin lied to her as well. And another thing that I found pretty interesting, as she say, there's no escaping from Sin, not even death. Which means that even when they're destroyed, the Sin gonna manage to bring them back and make them fight for her again, which shows that the solver has some sort of high mind that must keep all of the drone's information that she has on control and a center point, which must be Sin, because she's the one who brought Jay back after the Uzi killed her on episode 2 and episode 1, and I guess she died on episode 5 as well. Jay just fucking died a lot of times. How many times did Jay die? Episode 1, episode 2, episode 5, episode 8. Jay died 4 different times. Yeah, damn, Jay. And soon after this, we can see Uzi and Anne arriving from the atmosphere of the planet when Uzi used a new, and when she's activating the new, we can see for a few seconds the solver turning her into yellow, but managed to completely dominate the solver power and return to her normal purple color. It must be because of her willpower and wanting to fight against the solver to protect who she's loved. And that's probably to help because the code that she made to fight the solver during episode 5, which made this completely different from episode 6 and 7 when she was having a lot of problems with the solver because she was not confident in herself and she was on like kind of despair. This is now not a different Uzi, but a more confident, straight mind Uzi, where she can control the solver powers instead of let the solver control her. And the new that she used, and now the powers of the new just make Murderers go to a completely new level because the new just straight up pierce to the whole planet and go to the other side like nothing. Which make the singularity stop momentarily with the spread, which makes things go to the surface to deal with them. This is show that drones with the solver power are absurdly strong and they can easily destroy a whole planet, which indicates that the singularity event is not just for destroying the planet, but probably to consume it and give more powers to the solver and makes it stronger. And when things are right to the surface, we can see that she's holding Uzi new as like was nothing, which shows that she is still on a much stronger than Uzi. And we'll talk more about this later, but after she destroyed the new, they call the singular event to start again, which indicates that Uzi new has a completely opposite effect of Sin's new, which make them cancel each other out. And we can see Sin try to take control of Uzi's body back. But as I already said before, Sin can no longer take control, and when it comes to the murder drones like Anne, they are not solver drones, so she can't control them direct, but she has the power to order them what they're gonna do. But since Anne, V, and even J are different because Sin let them maintain their personalities, she can order them directly, and that's why she has that code that she used to have them under control. But since Uzi changed the code, Anne and V are completely free from Sin, but J is still under Sin's control and is a different story too. When the fight starts, Sin goes straight to a fatal blow to Uzi, which rips her core out of her body, but Anne stops Sin from destroying her, which make Uzi able to reconnect her core with her body. Other thing that I noticed, apparently drones infected with the solver can survive only in the core format, which show that the only way to actually kill one of those drones is by destroying their core. But there's two apparent exceptions to this rule. They are Doll and Eva. In Eva's case, we don't know if V destroyed her core. That's why she might be dead for good, because most likely V destroyed her core. And Doll, she still had a core after being attacked by Sid, but she couldn't do anything, and there's only two options that I can see for this case. One is because her core was damaged fighting against Sin, she couldn't really quick enough. That's why she couldn't move her core. Or because the core was still connected to her body, she couldn't move, and we can see the only moment that the core start moving is at the moment that Sin take her completely off her body and start eating, which means that the condition to them to move is that the core must be completely disconnected from the host body. And Sin also reinforced this when she tried to kill Anne, she goes straight to the core, and this moment she showed that she's really a crazy monster. She's literally scratching Anne's chest open so he can destroy her core, but Uzi saved them on the last moment, and Sin apparently let them run away, which indicates that she's not taking this fight serious at all, and she's playing with them. We can see Sin is hunting them, and she's using the callback sign ping that she used earlier to make Uzi have a reaction so she can fight them and kill them. But we can see that when they are hiding, he still has memories from when Sin was transforming them into murder drones, and he's still very traumatized by that. And Uzi appears to be fine, but she starts to lose control when the solver hit her with the comeback sign, which even made her start to kind of destroy her own body with the core. But thanks to Anne, she started to control herself. And then we see V, who was thrown into the corridor because the fight against Jay, and seeing the moment that V show up there, instantly transform into Anne, which shows that the form that we are seeing of Sin might not even be the real form, and she might be doing the same thing that she did during the mansion on episode 5, and she's actually just an elderly horror form with the illusion to look like a normal drone. But we're gonna talk more about this at the end of the episode when it's come even more relevant, because Anne doesn't want V to fall into a trap. She warns her about the trap, but because of that, Sin find him and just take his core out of his body. And at this exactly moment, she tells V that if she just done what she told him to do, everything would be fine. But consider that she's a manipulative liar, I doubted that it would be the truth. And V run away from the scene the moment she starts attacking. The moment that she leaves the corridor, she's attacked by Jay, which make her go into the ground. And we can see that Sin really wants to kill them at this point. And she's even with Anne's core in her hand and start to eating just to torture and traumatize V. She's doing all of that in front of her, but before she could do that, Anne is saved by Ken, which just closed the door. Of course, he used the fucking door button and closed the door on her, makes him kind of pissed. And it's one of the moments that we can see the curses on the episode. They really want to do a bit of cursing on this episode, not gonna kinda lie. They just have like Sin just saying some quirk shit.
God fucked it.
And not only Sin, but like Uzi and Nori too. And Sin attack N and V, but Uzi appears to save them at the last second. And we can see that Sin really cannot long take control of Uzi. And when she tries, Uzi managed to counterattack, which make one of the few times that Sin get angry and even a bit worried about it. And after that, we see one of the best fightings of the whole series, that is between Uzi, N and V against Sin and Jay. And in this fight, we can see that Uzi and Sin are really on a whole different level than any other one in the Murder's universe. And in the first plot of this fight, we can see that New managed to do an incredible amount of the damage on the planet's atmosphere. And one of the things that you can see through this fight is that Sin seems to be having more fun than taking this fight serious, and that she doesn't really care about what happens to Jay. That even if she's damaged or destroyed, she doesn't care and even do anything about it. She just keep fighting and have fun until the final moment of the fight, when Sin looks like she was still on top and just having fun, but Uzi managed to notice that she was gonna teleport at the last second, and because they played that they were, she could only appear behind Uzi because they were on a beam in the middle of just nothing. So at the last second, Uzi managed to turn and put her hand while seeing teleport with it and taking her core. And Uzi destroyed the core, using a no to open a hole to the planet, which make the sunlight go and destroy the core. But then she remembered that Jujutsu Kaisen is almost finished, and she needs to do one last reference before she dies.
Domain expansion. Infinite null.
But jokes aside, Sin with this area that she creates, which appears to be a null, trying to get what is left of her core from Uzi, which was like what happened to Jay in the end of episode 2. It was just like a little black hole looking thing floating on the ground. And apparently, if she managed to consume what is left of her core, she's gonna be able to recover. To prevent this, Uzi only see one option, and she just eat the core before Sin can do. And Sin's reaction when she see this is, I think, the reaction that everyone had at the same moment. And when this happened, this caused the Sin domain expansion to just get destroyed, and she fall apart. And we can see that Uzi start to get really sick, but Sin was finally defeated and her body start to melt. And the reason I think that this happened is because she was using the solver for so long, she already had rebuilt her body many times at this point probably, which means that only thing was left for her was the solver matter, which causes the same effect when the new is create the matter and is deactivate. And after that, Uzi starts to really have a conflict with the solver, and she faints and appear like she fall inside the hole, and this makes the event of the singularity stop. And when we can see her again, she has a fatal error on her monitor, and she's inside a circle made of looks like to be blood or maybe oil, with parts of the solver coming out of her. And the moment that she wake up, everything just instantly go inside to her again, which will be more relevant at the last scenes of the episode. But after that, we can see that everyone survived except of course Sin, and Jay is you're gonna see Jay in a second. Just you wait a bit. And Anne managed to find Uzi, only for V to see that she's kind of mixed up with Sin. We can see on her eyes that her eyes is kind of half shade with yellow and purple, and she's with the stand, the same one that Sin used to do during the mansion, which makes V really worry about it. And Uzi, when she see that, she just of course make jokes and just show up that she's still her normal self. And after this, we have a time skip with Uzi making a presentation to her classmates, and during this presentation, there's one image that I found really interesting. There's an image of Uzi in the background, but she's trying to say that she's not like the solver, which could mean that she might be in conflict about the state that she is, and that the solver is affecting her, but she doesn't want to accept this. And this will become more apparent later on. And during the credits, we can see a lot of things that are really interesting that I want to comment on. First thing that we can see that apparently Uzi managed to fix the Copper 9 planet, which shows that her skills with the solver increased so much, and she have probably the powers combined of her and Sin. Another thing that I can say that's pretty interesting, we can see is Chase alive and is trying to rebuild one of the capsules to escape the planet. This is the same capsule that they arrived and she destroyed during the episode 7. And she's probably trying to escape the planet. For where she's trying to go, I have no real idea. Probably she's trying to go on the next targets of the solver that's probably Sin had after this planet, because she's probably gonna know that planet's gonna be more clean of any threats. And you know, Uzi, N, and V are not there to probably kill her, because I guarantee you, if they see her over there, they're gonna fucking kill her. Another thing I find very interesting that we can see what appears to be a ghost of doll or distortion from her because of the solver. With the corridor that she appeared the first time during episode 3, we show that she's still trying to return, and the shape that she is made of something looks like the oil or the solver material, which would be the same thing that when Sin was melting on the end of the fight, which they might be able to use to make another like Murder Drones, maybe a short story, which would be more of like a terror-based story, kind of like episode 2 was. Another thing that we can see is the eldritch form of Jade that we can see during episode 2 is still around, because as we saw earlier, if the black hole kind of looking thing is still alive, looks like the solver can still rebuild himself, but will probably take way longer, and that's why we can see her still around the same place, just there with the eldritch form. And this shows that the only way that looks like that we're able to destroy a solver drone is when another drone consumes them, because if you don't do that, the core will only be reduced to the mini new form, and we will do it time be able to regenerate to his original form, which explains why she's still alive and she was trying to eat her core in the end of the fight. And now the most interesting thing is the final part of the episode. I've been kind of talking about since way earlier with the fight we've seen that Uzi eats her new. Now Uzi looks like to be the main host of the solver, and because of all of that, we didn't see exactly what happened after Uzi just go unconscious after the fating scene, and we only see Uzi with the fatal arrow on her screen and when she wake up. And because we can see during a few seconds that she's looking like on the reflection, like she's just a hologram, like what seen was during episode 5 and what this J Abomination or Eldritch Force, shall we say, was during episode 2, which shows that the main host of the solver is destined to become the Eldritch form. Probably her body is just the Eldritch form, but kind of compressed into a normal drone form, and that's why Uzi just walk around normally. And another thing that seems like the scene is still alive, just inside Uzi. I guess they're just fucking vibing, because scene is just talking to Uzi, like, you know, it could be like that. And this could be something that it can work if they're gonna do like another like small episodes on Murder Drones, because the main series is over, but they say they still want to do more content with Uzi and Ann, and probably the other characters if they're gonna have Uzi and Ann. But this is gonna show that scene gonna from now on just have an influence on her life and probably just try to have her under her control. And the interesting thing is about this Uzi not having her physical form anymore is that she is just now the main solver host, which would be interesting to see with any continuation of Murder Drones that they do. What are they gonna do with that? That is just something that I say that I find interesting. And this is like more reports too, because of the part that she's laying there before she wake up. We can see there's a lot of solver parts coming out of her, like the tentacles of Tin, the guards of the solver, the claws of the solver, plus the normal wings that she had before, which indicates that that is definitely the case, that she become exactly like Sin was, not mentally but her body. And this is all I could take from this episode for now, and this is where I'm gonna leave my analysis and explanation from here. And well, I want to end this video talking a little bit about what I think is gonna be about the future of the series and Murder Drones. First, I'm just gonna talk about Murder Drones. Murder Drones is probably my favorite animated series that I've ever watched, and I really fell in love with this series since the pilot that I started watching 3 years ago. Yes, it's already been 3 years, almost 3 years since Murder Drones started. I watched the pilot probably around a week after the launch, was if I'm not mistaken, and I always just watched the episodes on release ever since after that. And I always love to do theories and thinking what would happen, and this is what made me just create this channel and everything. And this series just means a lot to me, because it made me fall in love with something so good and managed to meet people and know people that I consider really good friends now. And it's all thanks to Murder Drones. So I really want to just say a good thanks for Glitch and Liam Vinkers to make such a good show. I'm probably gonna continue talking. I'm gonna still make theories. And I still have 2 more theories about Murder Drones they're gonna make, and 1 massive video they're gonna make with the help with a lot of people in the community about Murder Drones. And I will still do videos even after that. Probably gonna do a Gaslight District, because I'm looking at that and it seems like really cool interest series. And maybe about Digital Circles, because I do like Digital Circles, but it's not really something that I watch that much. And there's a lot of people just do theories about Digital Circles. So I don't really feel to be doing just series that. Another theory on that, but I might do in the future. And I've said that, thank you for everything, Murder Drones. And for all of you that are watching, I hope you guys have a fantastic week, and just stay safe out there, guys. Bye!